Today, we're going to talk about the impact of artificial intelligence technology. And my guest today is Stephen Graves. He's the CEO of Certified True. So I'd like to welcome to the show, Steve Graves. Good afternoon, Stephen. Welcome.
Thanks, June. Thanks for having me, and excited to talk about this very exciting development in technology. And I think that will have major impact in our world, both digitally and offline too.
Definitely. Steve, can you just share with our audience a little bit about yourself and your background?
Well, as you said, I am the CEO and founder of Certified True. Our focus is actually providing trusted image verification so that you're able to distinguish fraudulent photos from non, and to be able to be sure that you can trust images are taken, that the metadata and the background surrounding them have not been tampered with in any way. So prior to that, well, I'll say also I am the data and technology chair for Gotham Government Relations. And prior to that, I worked as at technology companies, enterprise technology companies, computer associates, and I've worked at a number of both banks and government and other things, advising in the technology space for more years than I would like to admit.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Let's begin by talking about the evolution of artificial intelligence for people that are just kind of learning about artificial intelligence and what it entails.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's really, artificial intelligence is really just a computer trying to make sense of a lot of the data that we feed it. And it's only, I mean, we've been doing artificial intelligence per se for quite some time, but it's only been in the last decade or so that we've had the computers powerful enough and networked sufficiently to be able to crunch all of the data to begin to make some sort of sense of it. I mean, you know, thinking about it, you can teach a game to play tic-tac-toe. I mean, we remember, you know, that old movie, War Games, right? You know, shall we play a game? And, you know, so, but that's a very limited set of both inputs and outputs. And, you know, with the various advances over time of, you know, data lakes and cloud computing, visualization, and each of these different waves have been supportive of the last. And because of that, it's been able to evolve to now where we can have artificial intelligence and we can both ingest enough data for the computer to begin to make sense of it and to crunch that, and then, you know, in the output, the human can help train it as to what's good and what's bad, and then effectively that goes recursively back into the model. I mean, I don't know, most people probably don't understand, but when we talk about artificial intelligence, you know, if you think about a baby, babies come out, they have no knowledge of the world at all, really, except what they have already had in the womb, right? Which is not insignificant. But ultimately they come out and they're trying to gain info about the world. And we just talk to them. So they're hearing things, but they really have no context as to what those mean, but they're ingesting all of that. Well, every little once in a while, you know, something maybe eventually will come out, that's output. But initially they're just taking in a whole bunch of things and then trying to set it into context by making patterns. If they see us do things repeatedly or say things and then something comes, and then ultimately we begin to train them, you know, in the language itself. So first we have understanding the language, and then the computer is better able to, well, the learning person is able to sit there and take that in then they can begin to understand patterns and models and create models for other info as they take everything in. And then it requires humans essentially right now to be able to train it as to, well, this was good, this was bad. And much like a baby picks up, is this a truck? No, this is a bus. And so, okay. And then, but then with AI today and the current models, they are able to recursively loop that back into prior learning, all the stages of prior learning, and then run it through again with this new knowledge. And that's one of the things that has made it able to learn at a much closer to human level, and human, brain patterns, as that's what they've been trying to model from more recently.
And there's been a lot of talk about ChatGPT and other tools. Some people love them, some people don't like them. Depends upon which side of the fence you're sitting on. What are your thoughts?
Like anything, it's a tool, and chainsaws are great, knives are great, scissors are great, but it all depends on what you do with them. And of course, using one untrained and is more dangerous, or could be. You don't want to be running with scissors across the room, at least every mother's admonition. And the same thing is with the chainsaw. You can get a lot more done with it than a knife or even an axe, but it can be a lot more dangerous in the wrong hands, or if you make mistakes with it. And I think that's where AI is. ChatGPT in specific, it isn't that this is the first advent. Google had been working on, they bought DeepMind from IBM and others previously, but this was sort of the first ability for the public to get a hold of it. And in this open source method, in a lot of ways, they're using public insourcing like this to help train the output as well. Not so much the machine itself, but the researchers around it. So I think whatever we like or dislike about it, it's here, and it's going to become much more pervasive, and become much greater part of people's individual lives, as well as certainly business processes. So it's here, it's not going back in the bottle.
Very true. Very true. Well, Steve, I just want to thank you for your time and for sharing your perspectives on That's the Story. So, folks, thank you for tuning in. This has been June Stoyer with That's the Story. Have a great day.
Thanks, June.